Alrighty, everybody. It looks like we are live. And man, I guess it's been, I'm glad that we, took last week off, Mickey, because this week is going to be real fun, especially with all the announcements. So
hmm Oh yeah.
let's make sure we are absolutely 100% live. That's always a good thing. And I swear, there it is. Now we are live. Yep. Okay, here we go. So everybody, definitely,
Woo-woo.
I know, right? So everybody, it's kind of been a fun week, fun 2 weeks, watching everything kind of unfold and all the speculations about what's going to happen this week. And now here we are. Gamescom is taking place. We've already had opening night live. We've had Xbox kind of steal last night's show. We'll get into that later. And also, they've already made a couple announcements today with a little bit of a sit-down interview with Phil Spencer and some other developers over at Blizzard and other games coming to Game Pass. So definitely, in my opinion, Xbox has definitely got a very large presence over at Gamescom this year. From what some people have even said, they've built a little bit of a small city over at Gamescom with all the different booths and experiences that are taking place with Xbox Studio games and titles that are coming to Game Pass, and also showing off some of the newer technology that they are creating for disabled gamers or needing adaptive controllers and stuff like that. I feel like I can hear myself, Mickey.
You sound good on this side.
No, I'm saying there's something like I can hear my voice on your headset. I don't know. It was carrying through. For a second, I was like, "Hey, I can
Okay.
hear I can hear my shrill voice." Ugh. No, I'm playing.
I don't know. Oh, you
Yeah,
know why? Probably because I've got my phone sitting right next to
yeah.
my headset and it's the show. My
What's
bad.
what's up,
My
Adidas?
bad.
What's up, James Thomas? Thank you, everybody, for stopping in.
What's
Yeah,
up,
that's
everybody?
thanks. I always jokingly tell people, I'm like, when I'm coming, you can hear my shrill voice. So,
I had the phone right up to the freaking headset. My bad.
alrighty, and
That's
for
too funny.
for our viewing pleasure, just for at least this little while, everybody, we got some Battlefront 2 because me and Mickey cannot stop playing this game. We are hopelessly addicted, and no, we don't rock it. This is I think this is the one where we kept getting killed by the computer all night that night.
They
Like,
they had a vendetta against us.
dude, guy, I don't understand what goes on with the AI on Battlefront 2's co-op. Cause like one night you'll just feel like, man, this AI is like not there, like it's not playing right, and you feel like you can win match after match. And some nights
hmm
you'll play and it's all double bonus XP event. You're like, yes, we're definitely leveling up our characters. And all of a sudden, like the AI was just like dialed in. They hooked it up to Chat GPT or something, and like it will just like rock your world. They've got better tactics than SEAL Team 6.
They will straight murk you, like we've gotten murked.
Yeah, you know what, James Thomas? I could actually feel you on that. I actually like that. Mickey, he said, I think Xbox just wants to be the topic of conversation. Saying all publicity is good publicity and could be what's needed for the mind of the casual market. You know what? You're probably right, because that's what I mean. They're definitely making a lot of heads turn their way. And I really do feel, I've been telling Mickey this, I've been saying this on the show for a while. I feel that the business direction that that Xbox has a lot of people in arms up over, um, I feel this business direction is to really create focus on the brand and ecosystem to inevitably kind of like make it like everybody knows, like it's like I need to get a computer. Well, you have two options. You either you have actually three options, which is Mac, with
hmm
Macintosh, iMac, whatever the hell you want to call them, Mac, whatever. You
Yeah,
also have Linux, but we know like the big one, like the juggernaut of them all. When you're saying I'm getting a computer, is Windows. It's like a
it's
household
Windows, right?
name. Um,
Yep.
And that's where I'm thinking Xbox is trying to somehow achieve that with at least with gaming, by making it like oh dude, yeah, Microsoft really makes some waves in gaming. And I really just feel that, they have the we'll get into it. How about that? But so let's just kind of like start off. Mickey, we had opening night live last night. I know you don't really get into the stuff like I do. Jeff Keighley once again hosting opening night live over at Gamescom over in Germany. And there was definitely a lot of big announcements. And I know, let's kick it right off, Mickey. That first fucking trailer off of the show, the one I'm talking about. We were talking about it earlier. Come on, Mickey.
Yes, sir.
What game we talking
Borderlands
about?
4.
Yes. Borderlands 4. Even though we still need to finish 3, but we've also been we also for a while back there played the crap out of Tiny Tina's Wonderful Adventures.
I still haven't even beaten that one yet either,
I know, dude. Like, guys,
Freak.
we're over here like ADD land with video games. But for whatever reason, you're just like, you want to go back to Battlefront? No, I'm playing.
That's like our wind down game. Like, when we're just getting to the end of the night, we're like, let's just play something where, we don't really have to stress, and unless they end up murking us. But it is our late night chill game. So
yeah, especially when our wives are trying to sleep.
That's true.
Right?
We don't want to play Rainbow Six that late.
Oh,
but we will play.
No.
We will play Battlefront.
Dude, oh my god, playing Rainbow Six at that time of night, I'd probably get yelled at.
Well, no,
all the F-bombs.
There would no longer be a Crazy and Casual podcast because we'd both be dead.
Yeah. Yeah, James Thomas, Microsoft and Xbox definitely knows what they're doing. I know. He also says hardware means nothing without software, and PlayStation literally has none for right. Astrobot and Concord. Xbox gonna be the poison pill for PlayStation. Yeah, Xbox games gonna be poison pill for PlayStation. Definitely. As far as Indiana Jones, I believe it was multiplayer, and they had to fight for the time to exclude. I wouldn't be surprised because, like, you know what the funny part is about that whole situation, James Thomas, is I know if Disney had the legal way of basically suing the piss out of PlayStation and taking the Spider-Man franchise from them, they would do it. I know that like the whole Spider-Man situation and the fact that Sony has a very large ownership of Spider-Man, you can just tell that like the guys, it's kind of like, the best way I can describe it is Disney is Triple H and PlayStation is The Rock. These guys come together every single day to get the job done and make a good product, like wrestling. But these dudes are not going out after the show and being buddies, having a beer together.
Not hanging out. Yeah,
they are not hanging. That's what I mean. I'm just saying right now, when it comes to the situation of Spider-Man and like Disney, like Sony and Spider-Man with Disney and Marvel, I know that there's a point of contention with that. And I know that Disney is not very fond of the fact that, Spider-Man could have a much more far-reaching effect when it comes to money generating revenue and also pop culture. And it just feels like that, that they're kind of pissy that PlayStation or Sony definitely doesn't let that brand go as far as it can. Damn it, freaking, I hate this stupid heart icon over the chat. That's why PlayStation gets to keep Spider-Man to themselves. Yeah. That's only saying because Sony, they have movie rights, but that's where I'm just saying, like, it's even though they've got movie rights, that they're using a heavy point of authority to keep that character very exclusive to the PlayStation brand. I know there's like certain games where Spider-Man has popped up, but I know like the actual like gaming home currently for Spider-Man, the big gaming home, is over on PlayStation, and they're definitely, you could just tell that Disney wishes they could maybe do, they do basically kind of like, they're not too fond of some of the stuff that has happened there. You could just tell from like stuff that's happened in the past.
Remind me again how Spidey is part of the Marvel universe, but Sony has access to it without allowing Microsoft to have access to it.
So, hold on. Yeah, let's see. Okay.
Because Spider-Man is part of the Marvel universe.
Okay, so here we go. AI overview. We're going to just kind of like go through this real quick, everybody. So, in 1999, Sony bought the film rights to Spider-Man from Marvel for $7 million. Jesus Christ. Oh, only $7 million. Dude, that's like, oh my God. Man, Sony got away like bandits on that one. Okay, sorry.
Now I already see where the start of that is.
Oh my God, okay, I can see it right now. There is somebody walking around right now dropping F-bombs. All right. In 1999, Sony bought the film rights to Spider-Man from Marvel for $7 million. It doesn't even sound right saying it. The rights had previously been owned by Canon Films, who tried and failed to make a Spider-Man movie before going bankrupt in 1996. Marvel also went bankrupt in 1996, and the rights to Spider-Man were lost in litigation until Marvel regained them in 1999. So there we go. Marvel went through some problems and they sold some stuff off. That's kind of like how Fox ended up with X-Men. Remember, like Fox Studios,
right?
Right. So yeah. Fox Studios with X-Men.
I see.
But now Disney has done a good job of recollecting all that. They even had to buy a large portion of Fox to actually get X-Men back. But that's where it's like, apparently, whatever. I've heard rumors. I don't know. Forgive me. I don't got access to any documents, but I've heard rumors and heard people talk about that. If Sony Pictures ever sells, the rights will revert back to Marvel. So that's one of those things where I'm very curious on what's going to happen in the future of like, if like there was ever to be a big, change up at Sony Picture. I'm not saying Sony, I'm saying Sony Production Studios, Sony Pictures. If there was ever a changing of the guard over there where there was a little bit of a changing of ownership, you could potentially see Spider-Man eventually one day end up back under full control of
Marvel
by the Marvel brand, which is owned by Disney.
Oh, okay. I see.
Oh, damn. Freaking chat lit up like fire. All right. Mexum, Blue, Fastback. Oh, Fastback. What's up, bud? Good to see you here. All right. Il Ray Tito. Thank you all for joining. We're going to get into this. So, Mexum, the Game Pass model doesn't seem to be working for Microsoft. To make a profit, they need to publish their games on more platforms. This is especially important because games are getting bigger and expensiver. You know what the funny part is about that? I would say that I don't want to say the Game Pass model doesn't seem to be working. I just believe like the fact that like Microsoft picking up Activision was a legit knee-jerk reaction. Like straight up, like, damn well Phil Spencer and all them were like hitting the path forward on Game Pass. This is the direction. And then all of a sudden somebody's like, dude, you know what Bobby Kotick did at Activision? No. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, they're being investigated for like employment like violations and sexual harassment and all this other crazy stuff. And so I was, damn well freaking, if I was Phil Spencer, it was like that jokingly, like, I'm going to write a number in whipped cream on my pancakes, and I'm going to send you a photo of how much money I am offering right now for Activision. And damn well Bobby Kotick and them were like, so wait a minute, you telling me I can get out of this problem for this? All right, fuck it, pull the ejection cord, we're out. So, like, I'm going to say it right now, this is one of the things where, in my opinion, at least what Phil Spencer and the leadership at Xbox are good at is pivoting. Hey, people might want to talk about their messaging and other stuff. That could be a different story. But when we talk about pivoting and making that knee-jerk reaction, it's exactly how we got Bethesda ZeniMax. Hey, the owner's about 80 some years old and we got a great working relationship with Bethesda and he's going to sell it. Oh, here's some money. Ding. There you go. Same. And that was also as a knee-jerk reaction because they found out that PlayStation was trying to make Starfield exclusive. So definitely, Microsoft swooped in on that situation with Bethesda. They swooped in on that situation with Activision and Blizzard. But if we really look at how much they shelled out, like for all we're talking over $70 billion for both of these companies. That's a lot of money. It's not nothing to scoff at. And so that's where, let's just say that I don't want to say the Game Pass model is failing. They just put out a lot of money and they now have a big hyperbolic focus from a lot of the shareholders and the executive board over at Microsoft. And even Phil Spencer said today, this is still a business. They are still there to actually appease the people that actually control the business. And that, they have received a lot of funding from Microsoft. And so in turn, they have to provide funding back to Microsoft. So therefore, this is where I just don't want us to be like, oh, Game Pass failed. I think Game Pass actually did a really good job of making gaming more affordable for a lot of consumers. But I just feel that extra output of a lot of money, especially for Activision Blizzard, definitely changed the direction of things. And that's where they started realizing to do this, they were going to have to be a little bit more multi-platform thinking. But Blue, thanks for joining us, bud. He also says Sony is their customer. They're making money off of Sony. Yeah, you know what? That's the other funny part. Could you imagine? Like, I actually kind of do some of the same thing in my own professional life. Like, I actually sell products to some of our competitors in the area, even though our competitors, I actually jokingly tell people that I was just like, I have actually told customers, go ahead and take your unit somewhere else to be repaired. But I'm going to let you know right now that I'm probably going to have my hands in your unit being repaired because I'm probably going to sell the components that are needed to fix your unit to my competitor just so that they can fix your broken shit. And that's where, because they come to me because I've actually done a very good job of making sure I have the products that these businesses need to be able to fix stuff. And therefore they come to me anyways. That's where it's kind of like a little bit of a give and take. Like I'd rather be making money everywhere than just here and there, but that's my own personal thing that I've done in my life. So Fastback. All right. So thank you for joining us, good sir. Sony used their Spider-Man movie rights to get Spider-Man gaming exclusive, but can see Disney pushing to go multi-plat like MLB did, Major League Baseball did. Yeah, that's the only thing I could see Disney wanting to do is one day pushing them to do that, to go multi-plat with some of their games. Especially, I'm just saying, if there's ever an instance where exclusivity actually hurt the revenue potential of something, I would definitely say Disney would be one of those companies that would have the power and authority and maybe even the legal ability to somehow force multi-plat on stuff like that. Let's see if James Thomas, if Disney could pull off an MLB, they would. I'm just thinking right now they don't have the legal backing, but if there was ever to be a situation where they could show financial burden from it, maybe. Disney pimping PlayStation. Oh my gosh. So let's see. Man. Xbox needs DC. Oh my God, there's a statement. What do you think, Mickey? Because dude, when I think
I'd be cool with that.
I'd be cool, but the only problem is Like, I'm not like, dude, I loved Aquaman. I love all this. Like, I love all movies. I'm kind of weird like that, but could you say like DC movies are like second tier to Marvel movies?
So, yes, but DC shows seem to be better than Marvel shows. So it seems
Fair
like
enough.
DC is the winner of the shows, while Marvel's winner of the
Well,
theaters.
I'm
You know
kind
what
of
I mean?
I'm curious on how that DC, like the DC shows thing, is going to work out now. Especially like Blue even sent me the article like a few weeks back, and I had to read. Apparently, WB shut down a lot of their like television production studios. They're like out
Mm.
anything that was popular, they're outsourcing it to other production studios. But it's like, I guess WB got into some kind of merger with Skydance. And I'm not too exactly sure on who, like, I'm not going to go into like who Skydance is because I'd have to like look it up. But apparently the deal was for Skydance
It sounds familiar. Skydance sounds
for
familiar.
Skydance to actually do the merger with WB. Not, I guess, no, wait, was it WB or Paramount?
Hmm.
Nope, Paramount. Never mind. My bad. WB, never mind. I'm going to stay out of that conversation, but Paramount is still one of those ones that I'm curious on. Yeah, dude. Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on right now. We know that WB is changing up. Don't listen to me, guys. Skydancer is actually going to be is going to merge with Paramount. But what really sucks is they shut down a lot of Paramount studios. So, like, I'm kind of curious on like even what's gonna happen with like the future of like even Star Trek series and stuff like that in Paramount Plus, because like what's really interesting about that whole Skydance thing is what apparently they had to implement $500 million worth of cost cutting measures for Skydance to actually do the merger. And like, I mean, like, dude, they're like swathing through Paramount Studios with a freaking like Sith Lord lightsaber. No one is safe.
Hmm.
Anyways, but I do like oh, there's my freaking alarm again. Somebody said right, yeah, I do like what James Thomas said though. Xbox needs Spawn. What about a Spawn exclusive? I would just love for a damn Spawn game, dude. At this point,
Mm-hmm. That would be sick.
yeah, like
That would be sick.
actual decent Spawn, like dude, for real.
That would be sick.
Yeah, even Blue commented when Marvel was hurting, they made some bad decisions. Man, you guys are freaking going 100 miles an hour. Blue even says Microsoft at its core is a software company. That is for sure. That is damn for sure. James Thomas, Xbox wants to have their cake and eat it too, and ABK was a deal you couldn't pass on. If PlayStation could have done it, they would have. Yes, they would have. And they would have had to sell everything in the front lawn to do it. Okay, so, see, Blue, Sony is Microsoft customer. Yeah. Man. Just making sure I'm getting everybody here. Just I don't. Obviously, you guys are conversating with yourselves too. So. James Thomas, DC show actually agrees with you. DC shows and animated movies, top Marvel movies, bar none in my personal opinion. Yeah, no, you're right. In my opinion, dude, actually, I'm gonna say right now, I would agree on the animated stuff because I actually do not really buy too many of the animated like superhero movies, but I keep dipping into the Batman shit. Like I bought like the Batman 80th anniversary collection, which is all animated. I've definitely dabbled a lot into purchasing some of the like I've even tried to get Mickey here to watch Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's on Vudu, by the way, Mickey, if you want to watch it.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yep. And dude, and these movies are only like an hour long. Don't think they're like a full length. You're gonna sit down and it's gonna be like a 2.5 hour marathon, like, you know, freaking animated film. No, dude, it's like a fairly decent, like, you know, like you could just like, it's done like it was like gonna be on like an actual like Saturday morning for like a 1 hour special.
Mm. Well, I'll still check it out though.
No, you know what? Yeah, James Thomas. Spawn developed by Rocksteady. That would be honest.
That's what I was thinking. That's the one that does Batman, right?
Yep. Also the ones that do Suicide Squad.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's right.
Right. So
Yes. I 100% agree.
So
yes.
But no, getting back to Gamescom though, yeah, we kind of like deviated here.
Sidetracked a little bit.
So getting back to Gamescom though, there was definitely a lot of other games like Dying Light the Beast. This has me intrigued. I already read an article that apparently this game started off as DLC for Dying Light 2, and now it's going to be, I guess, its own standalone thing. I'm still like, at first what I thought was like, is this like an expansion or is this a game? But as far as I'm reading, this is an actual game called Dying Light the Beast. Did you see that one, Mickey?
Yep, that's what whenever I was looking on YouTube, the guy that was explaining that stuff, that's what he was saying too, is that it's not actually like a DLC, it's actually kind of like its own little just knocked my freaking headset off. That was sweet.
Yeah. He's getting so excited
yeah,
he's knocking his headset off.
But yeah, he said that it was like it's like its own game, like not a really big one, I guess, but it's still its own one. It's not a DLC off of either the Dying Light. So,
let's see. Do you know anything about the Mafia series?
No, I have not played. I still haven't played any of the Mafia games.
I've at least played Mafia 3. I need to play 1 and 2. I do own them. But I am excited for the old country. I guess it's supposed to be like taking place in like the early 1900s,
like Italy,
like Italy when the mafia was first like kind of like occurred kind of thing. And
I saw that.
I'm definitely wanting to check that one out. That one would be kind of fun for me, but that's just because I love those styles of games. Arc Raiders, that is supposed to be, I believe, games as a service. I remember when I first saw Arc Raiders, it kind of like piqued my radar, and then we saw it again opening night live, and so I'm just very curious on exactly how that game is going to do now that like a lot of people right now are kind of like, you know, they've had their, I don't want to say they've had their fill of games as a service, but they're already starting to see the cracks show as a games as a service game, because you know, you have this game that you put a lot of time, effort, and money into, and at any time, a developer can just be like, oh, hey, we sold, or the game didn't do well, or a number of reasons, and they just shut it down, and you're out all that. So I'm just very curious on how that's going to unfold now, especially with, like, you know, we've got the First Descendant and a lot more games as a service style games. So, you know, as time goes on and these games as a service games, you know, go through all this like heavy development, the environment just gets more and more crowded. Speaking of games as a service though, guys, how about this? Let's ask a question here. Did anybody hear about how over in Europe with the EU and possibly also maybe even the CMA helping maybe push the EU with this? There's some stuff going around about right now that there is a petition going around that if they receive a certain amount of signatures or input from the public, and this is only in Europe at this point, that it will require developers and publishers to actually not have the ability to to basically take a game offline. In other words, like what I guess this was really sparked by what Ubisoft did with The Crew and a couple other games, not just Ubisoft, but other developers and publishers have done similar things like what Ubisoft did with The Crew, where people who had bought a game, bought DLC, invested time and money into it, were literally just like, hey, thanks for the money. You no longer own this product. Sayonara. And that's where, apparently there is a petition going around in Europe to actually be able to ban this practice of being able to do this to a game. They're actually wanting to make a requirement that these games have the ability to function offline. I mean, they want to make it a requirement that the games have to be able to have offline functionality, which would mean that if this happens in Europe, that means it's also going to trickle here into the States, because that's where it's kind of funny that, you know, the FTC would hop on that bandwagon real quick. And I mean, if Europe is definitely a big player in gaming, so if they're going to make it work that way in Europe, they're just going to also make it work that way across the United States. Because I mean, who's going to develop two versions of the game like that? At least in my opinion. But don't go signing. Also, everybody, don't go signing this petition unless you live in Europe. But this is one of those things where I actually would be interested to see it happen, because it would be nice to see at least us supporters of gaming get a little bit better protections from the ability of a developer or publisher just to flip that switch and you're out the money. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was sitting there trying to bounce that around in my brain, you know, but yeah, I guess that's true.
So James Thomas actually says he wants to give Opening Night Live a 7.5. And he says, tangent, I thought it was funny everyone cried over Tango, but never pushed Sony about selling studios that were being closed. See, they're always on, like, yeah, there's always a double standard. I will definitely say that. Like, I've seen Sony shut down a lot of good studios. We've seen Xbox shut down a lot of good studios. I just see Xbox gets a lot more grief for it. That's for sure. All right. But, Mickey, what'd you think of Dune Awakening?
That one, actually, I don't think he played that one.
Oh, shucks. Okay, so
hold on. Let me see. I wrote my... Dude, I can't even read my list, Phil. I can't. I can barely read. I have to hold it like 10 feet in front of my face. Yeah, that was one that he did not talk about. Shame on him.
Well, Dune Awakening it looks like it kind of reminded me of, I don't even want to say Conan Exiles. I don't even want to say it. I know you're a big fan of that. It looks like it's going to be some kind of perhaps a multiplayer online. I don't want to say the word massive, but but it showed like you crash land on Arrakis, some dude on a quad shows up and like gives you supplies. Apparently you can, you know, make factions, but you can also make enemies with other players. You can explore Arrakis. It looks like there's a lot there for you to do. I'm hoping there's also some story elements, but apparently the big part of the game is, in a certain part of the map, is where all the spice mining takes place. And I guess when you're mining for the spice, it's kind of like, from what it looked like, Mickey, it looks like it turns into the Division's neutral zone, or the dark zone.
Oh, the dark zone. Okay.
Like everybody's fighting over spice, and the whole idea is to try to extract as much spice as you can during this whole incident. And apparently, are you familiar with Dune? Do you know what a thumper is?
No.
Okay, so a thumper is a device that the guys shove into the ground, and it basically beats shockwaves into the ground, and it attracts the sandworms. In the middle of the battle, this guy drops a thumper, and they're having this battle, and you can just tell that it's attracting one. And then he gets extracted by one of his buddies. He's got a zip line, and he goes up to the ship, and that's when the sandworm comes out of the ground and just basically just destroys the entire battle. So that's where I'm just very curious on how, like, Dune Awakening does have my attention. I'm just curious on how it's going to work in the long run.
So is it like multiplayer as far as like minimal, or is it like a
Oh no, it's like a sandbox
MMO?
It's like an MMO style multiplayer.
Okay.
So
I guess that makes more sense. So.
Mexum, many Ubisoft games have an authentication system that requires you to log in using your account name and password. If you host your own servers, the system will not work, and you will. If you host your own servers, the system will not work, and you won't be able to save. Okay. So Mexum, that's actually some of the stuff that the EU is actually touching on. Is they're actually wanting it to, they don't want to see incidences anymore where consumers buy a video game. Like, in other words, they're actually hearing the outcry from consumers because we're told not to pirate games. We're not told to steal games. We're told to, like, not do this, that, and the other. We see a lot of people go through, like, like look at the guy who basically made that mod for Modern Warfare 3 or whatever, and now all of a sudden he's not allowed to release the mod because it might affect sales of Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And it's kind of funny. All these corporations want us to respect their bottom dollar and what they put into these products, but they don't want to respect the fact that we're not over here living on yachts and being multimillionaires. A lot of us anyways. I'm pretty sure some of us here are. Not me, but I'm not going to say no one's not. But what I'm just getting at, though, is we're all hardworking individuals, but why is it that we're told that I can't steal or pirate a game, but the publisher or the developer has the legal right and authority to essentially turn my game off and take my money? It feels a little bit a one-sided unfairness. So, and I generally don't bitch much about that. Like, I actually am one of the few people that say microtransactions actually have a place in the gaming industry done correctly. Not egregiously, not pay to win, but done correctly. Microtransactions and DLC actually have a place in the gaming industry. But the idea that I can have my $70, if I buy that game $70 day one, and 5 years from now they turn that game off on me and they're like, well, we're keeping your $70. It feels kind of dirty. It just feels dirty.
No, it feels very dirty. Yeah.
James Thomas, Dune Desert Spice Party. Oh my God. Boston Tea Party. Let's see. Marwas, thank you for joining us. Many of the mechanisms in Dune Awakening seem to be inspired by Starfield. Even the trailer looks similar to Starfield's. I would have to I wouldn't be surprised. Everybody, people take inspiration from that's one thing about art. You take inspiration from other artists, and you know what? Everybody always just wants to feel like, oh, you're stealing an idea. I remember on the Dave Chappelle show back in the day with Paul Mooney, and I believe, isn't it like emulation is the biggest form of flattery? Like when you actually not like copy, but actually try to be like, oh, I was inspired by this person's style or this person's art form. And you're emulating them. It's like a form of flattery and showing that, you actually perceive that as something that's worth duplicating,
Yeah.
And that's where, so that definitely, I'm just curious on, for me, it's what makes me keep going back to Elder Scrolls Online. Elder Scrolls Online is an MMO, but there is a massive amount of content that you can play by yourself, single player experience, and never feel like you're missing out. The one thing that worries me about some like some MMOs. Like this is why, like with like Conan Exiles, Mickey loved Conan Exiles. I couldn't handle it. I didn't like having to be like, oh look, a tablet. Let me read some kind of part of like some half-ass story. Like I know that there was substance there to the game. Mickey told me about it. His kid told me about it. I know, like Mickey, would you like make a fair assessment that there wasn't a huge story presence in Conan Exiles?
Yeah, I mean, they could have done better with the story. I could agree with that. I mean, I've only found a few of the tablets, and it does kind of, piece it up a little bit here and there. And there is some people you can talk to too that'll kind of say some things, but I mean, overall, yeah, they could have probably done better with, kind of putting the story together or helping you, figure out the actuality of the story. So, yeah, it's a fair assessment.
Oh, and James Thomas corrected me. Great. Somebody else in the show knows what I'm talking about. Imitation is the biggest form of flattery. Imitation. So there we go. There you go. Imitation. And you're right. Mooney on movies. And yes, R.I.P. the GOAT. Yes. Paul Mooney was funny as hell. Oh man. So, let's see. Next one. Path of Exile 2. I know that has a lot of people excited.
Oh, yeah.
That has a lot of people excited. I've got a guy at work that's like chewing my damn foot off trying to get me to play Path of Exile 1 with him on PC. He's the guy that actually helped me fix this PC. And I'm like slowly being like, man, I'm going to be like swindled into being, yeah. Huh?
If you play Path of Exile with him and don't play Diablo 4 with me, I'm going to be upset.
I'm going to say right now, Diablo 4 is maybe creeping into my realm of like, maybe. Because I know they got that DLC coming out.
Well, I've known you for a long time, and he's only known you for, what, maybe a year? Don't be messing with me like that, Phil.
Mickey, but I invited him over to put his thermal paste all over my CPU. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's what I said at work when they were like, so wait a minute, what'd you guys do last night hanging out your house? Oh, I invited him over. I let him put his thermal paste all over my CPU. Dude, I said that in the middle of work and they all looked at me funny like, what did you say? I'm like, and the funny part is he is like, actually, that's exactly what we did.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. So, Marwaz, we started off with it, but what are your thoughts on Borderlands 4, Mickey? Are you excited? Like, where do you think they can go from there? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited.
So I actually started on Borderlands 2 because I hadn't played the original Borderlands yet.
Oh, the original's
fucking awesome. I think you and Kyle got me into Borderlands.
I remember Kyle, yep.
Borderlands 2, Borderlands 3, love Borderlands 3, love Tiny Tina, the branch off. So I am super excited for Borderlands 4. Their games are so much fun. They're cool. They've got just everything that you want to taste. I just love Borderlands. I love the how you do the visuals and stuff. It's just, and the gameplay is awesome. That's actually one of my favorite series too. So I am super excited for Borderlands 4.
You know what? Now here's let's touch on this though. What do you guys think? Like, I want to know what you guys think about the director of Borderlands 4 making this move. Like, I remember, so the Borderlands movie has been getting just freaking
a lot of negative.
They've been getting creamed. Like Rotten Tomatoes at 0% for a short amount of time, for a while there. That movie has definitely that movie is clutching the crown right now of what is probably going to go down as one of the worst movies in 2024.
I want to watch it.
I want to watch it.
Yeah, right.
You know what? I'm thinking I might even like pick that up on video, and you and I maybe even like, I don't know, like you like Voodoo it or something. You watch it on Voodoo, and we like watch, like we try to watch it together on like a viewing party or something. Just to kind of just figure it out. But so that's where, at any rate, what do you think of the director coming out and like trying to warn people, like, you know, trying to like drum up support for the Borderlands game, saying that, you know, it was great to see that people prefer the games over the movie, especially when movies have like sometimes larger budgets than these guys can get for one game. And now he pulls this rabbit out of the hat and literally drops Borderlands 4 with the fact that now we're already having rumors that who, like, I believe Lionsgate were the ones that did the that had like the production rights or whatever. Basically, Lionsgate's were the publishing rights or whatever for Borderlands, and they're already talking about pulling the movie out of theaters right now, even though it's been in theaters for like only like 2 weeks, and they're gonna probably basically mainline it into streaming platforms, possibly by the end of the month.
That's the power of social media for you.
I would agree. You know what the funny part is? Back in the day, you would never, you know how many people would go check this movie out before? Like, it's very interesting that, you know, like, I guess you could say, like, you know, like we went on this earlier in a conversation a couple episodes ago about like how review bombing can really affect a product.
Kill movies, kill games. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and I'm not saying the reviews are undeserved, because I mean, Blue is definitely, like, even Blue has had some things to say about, you know, on how I believe Kevin Smith playing Roland. Is that his name? Kevin Hart. Kevin Smith was Jay and Silent Bob. Ha! But no, Kevin Hart playing Roland, and just some of the choices in just what happened, and definitely that Borderlands movie. It sucks.
Well, that could be
the movie.
You know, when you're doing a movie like that and you go for like the big name people, doesn't always mean that it's gonna, you know, grabbing those big names is gonna make the movie automatically, you know.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Something that people are gonna, you know, love. So, you know, you have to be careful on, you know, on who you pull together for the movies, because, you know, sometimes the unknown is better than the known. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, we need to watch it and see what the big fuss is about.
I would agree. So there is one game that, in my opinion, had at least for me, the funniest trailer. Did you see the trailer for Goat Simulator?
No, but they'd said something about it, and I was like,
it literally starts off with some dude going to like the cash grab. They called it the cash grab asylum. It was basically an asylum, and it was called the cash grab asylum. And as he's walking through the hallway, and you're looking into the individual jail cells, you see all the remakes and remasters. And for me, the funniest shit was the freaking Skyrim cart that kept crossing the room, because you know it was this, because it's the cart from the beginning of Skyrim, like, oh, you're finally awake, and it kept it did it funny. Multiple times, and I'm like, dude, they've remastered that so much. Like, the cart goes by one time, and you're like, and then it goes by again, and you're like, okay, they're hinting at the fact that they've remastered Skyrim multiple times. Dude, I'm sorry, but that was funny.
Okay, that's pretty funny. I was gonna say that's pretty funny. That's funny.
All right, and let's see. Space Marine 2. I'm definitely, dude, I don't know where the fuck I'm gonna get all the money for this shit, because you got freaking dude, we've got Star Wars Outlaws coming out in like 8 or 9 days. And then we've got freaking Space Marine 2 coming out like sometime in September after it. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know where the hell I'm going to get all the money for this, but Space Marine 2, I'm excited for. Um,
That looks pretty cool. I'd like.
I
I
just
think I'm
wish
gonna
they
get
would.
that one too.
I just really wish they would freaking put like at least put the first game, um, on Xbox One, or excuse me, on the current, at least on, Gen 8 or or even, well, I just wish they'd put the thing on current consoles because it's stuck on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
Mm.
I have
I
an
see.
Xbox 360 copy of it. I really need to play, but the only thing is I feel like I'm only going to get a partial amount of the experience because you can actually buy, I believe, like even a remastered and complete version of the game on PC. And like that's one of those things where like I can't argue when it's just like, dude, there's some stuff on PC that you just wish was on console, and it honestly doesn't have it. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but at least when it comes to Space Marine, I just really do feel that there's like not really a reason why that game hasn't been ported over to current gen consoles. So there's that. Let's see. Man, there was a freaking lot.
There really is.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I need to still play the first one, but
How
Mickey,
come I didn't? There's so much of these games that they didn't go over, and maybe because I
it's
think there was
because
like maybe 5 minutes left at the end. Maybe I just missed them in that or something.
nah, there was a lot. That's the only thing. There was a lot. Some of
Yeah.
these may have not actually got put into the opening night live actual show. There is a small possibility that they may have
Okay.
been released, like, talking about them and stuff.
I see.
Unknown 9 Awakening. I'm looking forward to that one. You might want to
Yep.
check
Didn't
that
see
one
that
out.
one.
So there's also, like, I know Mickey got his hopes up with Batman Arkham Shadow and then found out that it
Mm-hmm.
was
VR,
yeah, VR.
virtual
But
reality.
then me and Mickey talked about like what would it take to get into VR, and I would probably say like, you know, maybe one of
I
these
need to find out
days.
how much that meta is. Find out how much that meta is.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna find out.
They range anywhere from 300 to 650 depending on what your version you get.
Okay, that's actually better than what I thought. So
Well, the Quest 2 is 300, the Quest 3 is 650. Well, excuse me, you have a Quest 3 for 500, which is 128 gigabytes, and then you have a 512 gigabyte for 650. I would probably
okay.
say the Quest 3 is the more advanced one. The Quest 2 would be like, so like, if like some of these ones where like some of them have them to where you can click a button and the screen will actually show you the room you're in, so that way you don't like stumble around blindly with a freaking like huge freaking blindfold over your face. So, but all right, here we go, guys. Let's really start the conversation. I want to see more stuff in the chat too, possible. So we all know the elephant in the room. Xbox, in my opinion, stole the show, and they did it with one announcement. And of course, I'm pretty sure we could all guess, and that is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Fuck, I'm bad. I want to. Is it the Golden Circle or the Great Circle?
It's Indiana Jones.
The Great Circle. Indiana Jones and the Great
Is it the
Circle.
Great Circle?
Yep. So I'm actually excited for this game, even though I can't get its name straight, but that's because it's a long name. It's been slated to come out, looks like around December 9th. It's going to be a great holiday game. It's going to at least have me excited as an Xbox fan and a gaming fan altogether. But at the end of the announcement, Machine Games and Xbox also wanted everybody to know that it looks like that it is for sure confirmed at this point now that this game is also going to launch on the PlayStation 5 in spring of 2025. So that means we have about a 4-month, 5-month window tops of this game being exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem and Xbox Steam, whatever you want to call it, but the Xbox ecosystem. So I'm curious on what everybody thinks on that situation. Because in all actuality, I have to at least agree with some of Phil Spencer's statements in the interview that he did today. That at the end of the day, Xbox is a business. We did touch on this earlier. They did have a large output of money with purchasing Activision. And now that's where they have to in turn now, make that money kind of come full circle back into Microsoft's pockets. And so it's kind of like, at least what I'm seeing is a lot of people are not happy with this decision, probably. At least the Xbox Series fan base, that really feel that exclusivity somehow makes a brand. But I don't really know anymore, because we know, like, from data that one of the best performing titles on PlayStation is Call of Duty, a multi-plat game. We understand that sometimes exclusivity can maybe cause people to have a certain mindset about a platform. But that's where I feel like maybe Xbox is creating this mindset now with being multi-platform on certain titles. I don't know. So let's just say this. Porky Soda, we'll at least read your comment. It's a bizarre business decision, that's for sure. With that announcement, they pretty much guaranteed that no one will buy an Xbox for indie, but they will still sell the game and make money. I'm kind of wondering at this point, let's just put it this way. There is a certain demographic of people out there that will buy a scalped console just to have it when it first comes out, when they're hard to find and stuff like that. There is going to be people that probably more than likely will buy an Xbox just to play Indiana Jones. But let's also look at a fundamental difference here. The people over on PlayStation are going to probably pay $70 for that game, where anybody on the Xbox ecosystem is going to pay $20 at best. And that's if you are a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber. So that's where, it's definitely enticing that it's cheaper to play on Xbox. Do I want to feed into what Phil Spencer is telling me? Not exactly, but do I also want to believe that the man is lying through his teeth? No. In the interview, he says that he sees player counts going up on the ecosystem as a whole, on PC and console. He sees console players ticking up. He sees Game Pass numbers ticking up. It may not be to the tune that they wish these numbers were, but I just really feel that Xbox is turning heads towards the brand. Like Porky, other people that really think about, we all know that Xbox has had the stigma for the longest time that Xbox has no games. They tried to give people an easier way to get into these games with a concept called Game Pass. They lowered the barrier of entry for some of these games for a time to as low as $10 a month to play some of these first-party studio games that exist on the Xbox brand. People still wanted to hold true that somehow PlayStation was this sacred garden. And so the people that have dug their heels into the sand and said, fuck no, I'm not buying an Xbox. They essentially have made up their minds. They're not going to go out and buy an Xbox for Indiana Jones, even if it was an exclusive. And that's where, like, I mean, let's look at like two of the most successful exclusive games for PlayStation when it came to exclusivity, and that was God of War, the one that came out on the PlayStation 4, and Spider-Man, the one that came out on PlayStation 4. Those have hit some pretty high marks when it comes to adoption rate. But nobody can get the adoption rate that like Nintendo gets with their stuff. Nintendo, I swear to God, sells Kool-Aid packets with their games, and people are drinking them. So that's where, Mickey, what did you think of the announcement before we go deeper into it while I switch something around on the screen here?
Announcement
that Indiana Jones is coming to PlayStation 5.
Honestly, I didn't really even think about it, to be honest with you, because honestly, I don't know if I'm going to play it because it's not, one that I'm really into. And again, I still haven't even seen the movie yet, so it's not like one of my high-end interests. So, I mean, as far as it going on PS5, I'm just like, okay, I mean, that's cool. I mean,
Okay.
To me, it honestly doesn't matter, if you want me to be completely honest. So
that's dude, you're entitled to your opinion and what you're into. So, but that's why I have you here, because you're, like I said, I don't want to be the echo chamber of two Xbox fanboys being like, oh my God, it's all great. And no, I just wanted it to be, I really wanted it to be an objective opinion. And that's why I know you don't keep up and you don't get that deep into the stuff. Like some of, like, dude, I've got like Xbox gear on. I've got all sorts of stuff. And that's where, like I love Xbox, but so for me, when it comes to Xbox, it's kind of like let's look at 4K Blu-ray players. A 4K Blu-ray player will play all the damn 4Ks. It comes about the technology inside that box, what it's going to give me. And I feel like the technology, at least for me, the technology in the Xbox consoles is superior to the PlayStations. Both in my opinion, the design of the consoles, and just like the idea of like quick resume. I like, I'm going to say it right now. I have never to this day ever worried about turning my Xbox off and on. My PlayStation, I will never put in a sleep mode because of things that have happened to me personally and things that I've seen on the internet. I won't put it in a sleep mode. I feel like Xbox is always a step ahead when it comes to hardware development, and they've done some really great innovative things, and they've always been a step ahead when it came, like, I always preferred Xbox Live over PlayStation's network, and this was even during the days when PlayStation's online was free. Like, you and I were still playing Halo, paying our $6 a month, and I preferred Xbox's online services over PlayStation's. And so there, like, there's that. And
well, plus you've had to deal with like the hacking on PlayStation's network, right, and all that stuff too.
And that's where we get into other stuff like the customer service, store policies. Like,
I understand that.
Like, I'm just saying right now, like, I could see if we were to wipe the board clean of like, don't even bring games into the equation, I could still make a valid argument on why I'm an Xbox fan. So that's why I've never got into the, like,
that's fair,
the whole thing of like, oh my gosh, like, I there was the thing, like, so Porky Soda just wrote in again. It was probably already in development for the PS5 when Xbox purchased ZeniMax. So Perhaps, maybe, but let's also look at the focus of this. Sorry, everybody. We cannot forget that during the FTC battle and the CMA battle for Activision Blizzard, the fact that Xbox actually made Starfield exclusive almost was used against them. It was brought up numerous times in court. The fact that Xbox is, let's look at the bigger picture here. Xbox is owned by a $1 trillion company known as Microsoft. They're governed by a different set of rules because of the fact that a lot of people associate Microsoft with monopolistic practices. I'm not going to say that they're running a monopoly, but because of how big they are scrutinized very heavily. They sometimes get a lot of scrutiny to where, yes, the decision to make a game exclusive could sometimes bite them in the ass. And right now, they don't want to do anything with the ABK deal still fresh out of the oven. And they don't want like the FTC and them to come in there. And like, so a lot of people don't realize that if Xbox does one thing out of line, the FTC could get enough, let's just say enough meat on the bone to be able to drag them back into any form of litigation to try to get Microsoft to divest. Is that possible? It would be extremely difficult now that it's done, but it wouldn't be unheard of for the FTC, because they have tried stuff like this in the past with other companies where they drag them back into court and try to force them to divest. Right now, they are also under the watch of the CMA. And that's where I know a lot of people want to think that this is only acquainting to what happens with Activision Blizzard. But I just really feel that Microsoft is making these moves to actually show that they are not trying to build a monopoly in gaming, and that they are, like, I like Phil Spencer's speech, that if you are thinking of gaming as I can play this and you can't, you're looking at gaming inappropriately, because we should all be able to be happy that other people are able to partake in this
in
fun,
particular games.
In this fun hobby of gaming as a whole. Like a lot of, like, everybody knows, like, unless you work at an absolute awesome place, like, I'm like one of the only people at my job that actually plays video games. They have even made jokes and a little bit of a stigma, like apparently I'm sitting in my mom's basement playing video games when they know I'm not. But it's kind of like there's a certain immaturity that is associated with video games. And that's where I have always said that I really wish there'd be a way to break down more barriers to get people to actually enjoy what gaming has to offer, and for it to not be looked at as like a child's toy.
Mm-hmm.
So Craig T, I thank you. He says, I think a lot of the stuff they're doing is because of the FTC, for sure. And that's where I'm just putting it out there that we're probably going to see Microsoft continue making what people would say as bizarre decisions or unusual decisions that don't line up with what we're used to seeing happen. And that's where, you know, only time will tell. But what would happen, like, hypothetically, if by some chance 10 years from now, Microsoft is standing on top because they found ways of creating different sources of revenue, and that's through putting games everywhere they can, but also supporting people that like adopting their hardware, and all the other stuff that Microsoft is doing that a lot of people are like, you know, what's going on? But what if they're standing on top 10 years from now, and PlayStation is still tripping and stumbling through this archaic way of trying to spend yourself to success? You know, it's like the idea of like, it's kind of like, it's kind of like PlayStation is a sugar daddy, and they're trying to impress the beautiful girl in the room, and they're trying to buy her love. and literally you could spend yourself broke trying to impress people. And then at the end of the day, when you run out of money, all of a sudden people are like, oh, well, there was that. We're going to move on. And that's where I just really feel that, it's kind of interesting that even though Xbox is what people call third place when it comes to PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox being in third place, they still make they still make good money in their gaming division, just like PlayStation does, being in third place. So, time is only going to tell. But I don't really see Microsoft's decision in making this game multiplat as like a disservice to the fans, because at the end of the day, it's gonna create eyes on the Xbox brand. But also, like, what else could we say? Like, we were talking earlier about like Disney. Like Disney owns LucasArts, another brand. Disney's damn close to being a monopoly, that's for sure. But
no shit.
But like they own LucasArts, and that's where maybe, what if it was by the request of Disney? Because we all jokingly said, like if Disney could, they would make sure PlayStation couldn't like hold Sony hostage over there on the PlayStation console anymore. So what if this was by chance a request of Disney, and this was like a meeting in the middle thing where, what if by chance Xbox was like, well, wait a minute, you let, PlayStation with Spider-Man, and that's where they're probably like, all right, fine, you get like X amount of time. But yeah, that's where like there's a different number of different avenues where we could go down that would not make this decision as bizarre as some of the media wants to make it out to be. But definitely, I don't want like Xbox fans, at least for me as an Xbox fan, I don't feel like Xbox did me dirty. I don't feel like Phil Spencer lied to me. I always had an inkling in the back of my head that, because of like things that were said during the FTC trial, that certain titles like this could end up becoming multiplat. So that's where, like everybody wanted Xbox to buy Bethesda. Everybody wanted Xbox to buy Activision Blizzard, but I just don't think that they understood the ramifications that would take place if that actually happened. And now we're starting to see like this is definitely a classic example of you just didn't expect the outcome that you're getting. What do you think, Mickey?
Sure.
Sure. All right.
Again, that's something where you know more about that stuff than I do. I mean, I don't, I don't usually. I just don't really have
what is like you as like, I hate to use the term casual, but you as a consciously casual gamer, even though you game every single night, I know like technically by society standards, you're like a hardcore gamer because you go home and fire your Xbox up every night and play. But from a community standpoint, you would be like more of like the casual type because you don't get invested in the social media shenanigans and the media shenanigans and all the other stuff. So just tell me, like, how do you feel as somebody that prefers Xbox as your home? Do you feel like, let's just be blunt, do you feel like you're getting fucked over?
No, not at all.
Like,
I mean,
what do you see like this, like what do you see this as being for you as an Xbox consumer?
Now you're talking about just Xbox in particular?
Yeah, like what do you well, yeah, I'm just saying like
Xbox, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I like so with the Game Pass is freaking amazing. All the free stuff that you get to play, that you get to get a hold of, that you get to test out, or the stuff that they just keep on there where you can just keep playing it I love it. The free games, you know, it's cool. Or if they give you the discount, like you said before, or I said earlier, where they discount it. Um, that plus, I mean, I don't know. I just like the game. I like gaming anything, but I like gaming with Xbox because you're Xbox and you're who I pretty much game with the most, clearly. So, I like Xbox because that brings us together. Um, but I mean, Xbox as a whole, I mean, I love it. I don't have any issues. I mean, the only issues is that I've spent $180 on the Elite controller and the right bumper went out. But I mean, aside from that, I'll let that go. But I mean, in seriousness, I don't know. I've liked it since I played it on the 360 because you and I have been playing it, forever. And that's where my joy comes from. Is we always play, we hang out, it's fun, and I mean, having Game Pass with all those games, yes, please. So I have no complaints, as far as just being a regular gamer. I mean, there's nothing I could complain about. Maybe sometimes the Xbox starts acting up a little bit or whatever, and I got to reset it or whatever. But I mean, that's just minimal shit. So overall, there's no complaints. I enjoy it. So I mean, that's just my opinion on it.
So exclusivity has no bearing on where you choose the game.
None,
Right. Because
zero.
right. Um and that so definitely that's where in my like that's why I kind of like with the title Xbox did steal the show because Xbox has definitely got a lot of people talking right now. A lot of people are trying to figure out exactly what is this going to mean in the future for other titles. And at the end of the day, I really just say that Xbox has a long road ahead of them when it comes to breaking down the stigma that was created that Xbox has no games. It started with Game Pass. They couldn't get a lot of people to adopt over from the PlayStation side. And they know that PlayStation will never allow them to have Game Pass on their console. And so this is the Trojan horse. They're going to start putting some of these titles on the PlayStation console. They're going to make 30% off of these titles for the PlayStation console. So they're going to generate revenue doing that. But at the end of the day, they're going to slowly break down that stigma that has the idea of that, Xbox has no games. Every time you turn one of those games on, you see that little pop at the beginning of the game, Microsoft Game Studios. So there's that. So getting back into it though, Xbox did have a lot of announcements for, what's it called? Gamescom. We did mention earlier that, I mean, if you haven't seen some of the stuff on YouTube, go check it out. They have built like a little bit of a city over there at Gamescom. They have like the Fallout 76 experience. They have a Diablo 4 experience. I saw people there playing stuff like Adam's Fall, It Takes Two, or oh my God, not It Takes Two. Oh my God. There it is, 2 Point Museum. The 2 Point Museum coming out. There's Xbox has definitely a large presence over there. And there's a lot of people that, I mean, I wish I could be over there. That's just for sure. So, but some of the announcements,
That would be cool.
let's just start like we, if we want to touch on something, Xbox is always developing hardware. Right now, in case you guys didn't hear, the new Xbox console, Microsoft will make 70, PS will get, we'll get PS, we'll get 30. Yeah, maybe. So, Craig T says Microsoft will make 70, PlayStation will get 30. Oh, that's right. Never mind. I got it the other way around. My bad. Yep. I asked backwards it. You're right. PlayStation gets 30%, but that's even 70's better than 30. So, um, yeah. So getting back to Xbox though, they're always kind of like wanting to make gaming for everybody. And well, before I was saying that, the new Xbox consoles are up for pre-order. That is the all white, all digital Xbox Series X, the Xbox 2 terabyte Series X Special Edition that is on my radar, and they also have a new version of the Series S coming out. These are all up for pre-order right now. That being said, when it also comes to hardware, Xbox, Microsoft, they're always wanting to push the envelope when it comes to hardware, and especially with Xbox's statements and direction of wanting to make gaming for everybody. They are now releasing more proverbials and new adaptive controllers to be able to give disabled gamers even more ways to play and comfortability when it comes to being able to function with some of these games. Xbox is like, there is a lot of companies that have used 3D printing when it comes to getting controllers and stuff into the hands of disabled gamers. But when it comes to one of the big three out of PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, Xbox is definitely leading the charge when it comes to creating proverbials for disabled gamers. And so,
That's
you know,
cool.
kudos to them. But we've also got other announcements. So there was actually a really cool deep dive on opening night live for Black Ops 6. I actually thought it was really cool, all the cinematics and stuff they showed. I haven't had a Call of Duty game made me actually sit and watch a trailer from start to finish. Especially with the long drawn out ones that are like watching a small movie. This one I did, and I'm very intrigued in the whole situation. And did you by chance catch that trailer?
I didn't see the trailer. I saw them talking about the campaign, and I only saw just like little bits um, because of the like I said, the one video I watched, it wasn't the actual Gamescom one because I just clicked on it. It was kind of late actually, so I just wanted to see, get a look at some of the games. But apparently, it's going to be really good, and also I guess they've made a bunch of changes on how your character moves, how you go into slides. You can, if you're on the ground, you can roll to your back, instead of just only laying like you're on your belly. Like they've done all
Okay.
kinds of stuff to it. So it looks cool. They said the campaign is supposed to be like really good. Like from what I heard is the Modern Warfare 3 campaign wasn't very good. So they said this one's going to be like really nice. So that's all. That's kind of all I got from it. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. So
Porky chimed in the chat. I want the 2 terabyte one for storage, and that white Series X looks sleek. Dude, that's pretty bad when you're looking like, even that's one of the reasons why I want the special edition. I'm like, wait a minute, it's got a 2 terabyte hard drive. What? I want that, dude. I mean, like, it looks cool with all the like white and green stars all over it, and like the bright green accent on the back of the controller, and also on the foot pad of the Series X is also green. And to me, it looks like a good console, and I'm just kind of like, do I do this? Do I want to do this? Because I mean,
buy another console.
I know, right? Like, I have permission to. I don't know. The kid in me wants to pull the trigger. The responsible adult in me is like, there's nothing wrong with your Xbox. So,
I still need to get an X.
right? So, let's see. Xbox also had some other announcements outside of Call of Duty. We saw they went into more about about Diablo 4, the Vessel of Hatred. We saw Rod Ferguson and some other developers over at Blizzard kind of like give a little bit of a sit down interview on that. It's definitely made me kind of like, maybe I do need to check out this Diablo 4 thing. Cause I mean, Mickey knows I tried Diablo 2. I didn't get into it. I have Diablo 3 and I'm just like, why would I get into Diablo 4? It's just I can't. And now I'm just kind of like, oh god, do I do this? But I'm playing so much other stuff at the same time. I just don't I know, Mickey. I'm in turmoil right now when it comes to Diablo 4. But go ahead, like I know you've been I know you and Blue play a lot of Diablo out of a lot of the people I chat with. So I guess if you want to go on that, go into detail on that one.
Well, I've been playing Diablo since Diablo 1. And actually it was Larry that got me into it.
Oh, really?
Yep. And Diablo 1 was fun. Diablo 2 obviously is is one that everybody always goes back to because it's one of those games. Diablo 3 was good, but Diablo 4 has even been an improvement over Diablo 3. So, and the things that they're doing for the seasons are fun, exciting. There's a whole bunch of stuff, gear and stuff you can get, everything you can do. I'm a Diablo guy, so I mean, I enjoy it because, I've played all the Diablos, and this is probably my favorite one, I would say. And that's hard to say over Diablo 2. So, but this one I think is my favorite Diablo out of all of them. So it's definitely an enjoyable game. And Phil's not really, you're not really into the the third person look style games, anyways. Are you, Phil?
Well, I play ESO in third person. I don't mind third person. It's that overhead look, but I've been playing that King Arthur game that actually has that look, and I'm slowly starting getting used to it. I guess I'm just taking baby steps into it.
Hey, that's all right. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
But no, I mean, it's definitely got me kind of curious. That's for sure.
Yeah, I am definitely buying the Ultimate Edition on that DLC.
So I'm curious. Like for me now, a game that's got me excited is Revenge of the Savage Planet. So I'm wondering on. So, like, did you
That's
ever
one of the
play
ones I
Journey?
don't think I saw.
No, that's the only thing. Like, this was so. I'm wondering who's doing it. Raccoon Logic Studio. Okay, cool. So this is kind of cool. This is kind of like, in my opinion, this is like a resurgence story here. So, Journey to the Savage Planet, the first game was done by Typhoon Studios. What's tragic about Typhoon Studios is they were actually bought by Google to create a support studio for Stadia. We all remember what happened. Stadia was a failed attempt at Google into getting into gaming. Apparently, Google got the F out because Xbox bought Bethesda. Apparently, buying Bethesda scared Google. Whatever. So, all the studios that Google acquired for the support of Stadia got shuttered. Typhoon Studios was one of them. And they did Journey to the Savage Planet, a game that I had a lot of fun playing, and I really recommend it to everybody. And they also came out with a DLC called Hot Garbage. True story. So, apparently, some of the veterans of Journey to the Savage Planet from Typhoon Studios went and founded in 2021 Raccoon Logic Studios. And now here we are coming full circle, and they are saying that Revenge of the Savage Planet is going to happen, which is basically Journey to the Savage Planet Part 2, which is Revenge of the Savage Planet. And it is apparently for 2025. And apparently it says Xbox, so I'm hoping this, even if this is a Game Pass title, this might be one that I would pick up, because I own Journey to the Savage Planet and I have not been disappointed, and I had a lot of fun playing it. Mickey, if it's still in Game Pass, you need to check it out. That's all I can do. If it's not in Game Pass, let me know.
Okay.
So I'm excited for that one. We also saw Starfield Shattered Space, the gameplay deep dive. We saw what they're going for in the DLC, and the big thing that has a lot of people talking and excited about is the introduction into vehicles into exploration. Apparently Phil Spencer has been begging Todd Howard for vehicles. Everybody's been begging Todd Howard for vehicles. And so now here we are on the cusp, and it looks like Shattered Space, according to at least what I'm reading, says that it would be September 30th, and there's going to be it's going to basically be the first big expansion DLC for Starfield, and you never know, we might see another resurgence in player count for Starfield, and it might even make me jump back in and actually pull the trigger on completing my game, because I'm like one of those that I don't know if I want to get into the loop of playing Starfield over and over again. So I got myself right to the end of the game where I'm like, I know I can end the game right now. I just haven't done it. I know the story. I know what happens. I know what you are. I know the story. I just don't know if I want to get into the loop that Starfield created, which in my opinion, I thought was really groundbreaking, because I mean, like most games, it's like, hey, congratulations, you beat the game. Would you like to play it in New Game Plus? This was, you completed the game, but there's reasons to go back and do it again, because if you basically replaying the game in a loop is actually part of the story, which I thought was very innovative. Another game that has me excited, it looks like it says Xbox Game Pass also, Atomfall. They had a little bit of extended gameplay on that one. It's reminding me a little bit of Atomic Heart, at least in that setting. And I'm just like, I really do want to check out this game, Atomfall. That's for sure. And what else did we have in here? Forza Horizon 5 is coming out with a hide and seek mode September 10th. So, I mean, there is definitely a lot to be looking forward to. There's even another open world RPG called Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. By the way, the Mickey, you know what? You probably haven't been. These all came out like today. Stuff like that was like announced today, because they're announcing.
Yeah, a bunch of those games. I didn't hear from.
Yeah.
From what I watched today.
No problem.
That's crazy.
Well, the Gamescom is like taking place over a number of days. So if we get into, I have it all right here. Thank God for the great people of Twitter that constantly send me stuff. Especially shout out to one in particular. He knows who he is. He's always sending me stuff, and I always thank him all the time for sending me stuff, because I enjoy always looking at what he sends me. So Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl to run at 60 FPS on Xbox Series X, and it's coming out November 20th. I'm looking forward to Stalker 2. That's going to be another one in Game Pass. Let's see. There it is. There's that stupid little thing. Okay, so um Wednesday, August. See, that's what I mean. We had opening night live. We had opening night live take place on Tuesday. Xbox at Gamescom live streams Wednesday, that which took place today, August 21st. We have Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred, Diablo Immortal, Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, Atomfall, Starfield, Shattered Space, Age of Mythology Retold. They touched on some Overwatch, Forza Horizon 5, Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero, Dustborn, and of course, obviously, other titles that we talked about. Tomorrow, Mickey, we're going to be getting Star Wars Outlaws, World of Warcraft, The War Within, Fallout 76, Milepost Zero, Towerborn, Elder Scrolls Online, Gold Road. I'm wanting to tune in for that one, Mickey, to find out because they're probably going to give more details on how they're going to cap off the Gold Road season for Elder Scrolls Online. We're also getting into Fragpunk. I know Fragpunk is probably more than likely going to announce a beta of some kind. Hopefully, I believe Fragpunk just got out of a closed beta, and hopefully they're going to announce some kind of an open beta because it's a very intriguing looking game. Obviously, it's a multiplayer. Microsoft Flight Simulator, 2 Point Museum, Project Birdseye. Don't know what that one is. It's in quotation marks.
Interesting.
Kill Knight, The First Berserker, Kazan, Eternal Strands, Planet Coaster 2, Life is Strange, Double Exposure, the casting of Frank Stone, Mecha Break, Little Nightmares 3, Data Everything, and of course they have that moniker and more. And then finally Friday night, or Friday, because it's actually going to be like a Friday morning for us, because over there in Germany it's going to be 6 a.m. Pacific date. Yeah, 9 a.m. Eastern time. So that's why we're not catching a lot of this stuff, because it's happening while we're asleep, at least over here, because it's like 6 a.m. when some of this stuff shows up, Mickey, because it's being done in Germany. So Friday, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Avowed, Aura, History Untold, Sea of Thieves, 33 Immortals, Warhammer 40,000, Space Marine 2, Metaphor, Fantazio. Okay, there's a word you can't say 10 times quickly. Tales of Iron 2, Squirrel with a Gun, Path of Exile 2, The First Descendant, Commandos Origins. The First Descendant, Commandos Origins. I don't know if that's like one whole title or because they have it split. So, and then of course, and more. So this is just from a poster that was sent to me for like what Xbox is wanting to just talk about Gamescom. And definitely, that's interesting.
You said that's Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
He also, yeah, I did not know. Wow. Okay. I did not know that. Anyways. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here that definitely has my attention. Apparently we're also supposed to see more on the New World Eternum or whatever that's coming from Amazon.
Okay.
So August 21st to 25th. Apparently they're saying that it's coming. Apparently the New World Atrium is coming to Gamescom. That's all it says, but I'm definitely very intrigued on this New World game. I know that one's supposed to be an MMO from Amazon Game Studios. So in my opinion, here we are yet another great time to be a gamer. You know, sadly my pocketbook is going to be screaming for help as time goes on, and there we have it, everybody. I mean, we'll obviously have more to discuss next week, because we'll obviously have more and more stuff that has been revealed since then. So this is just more like day one coverage of Gamescom, our discussion. But any of the big news that takes place between now and next Wednesday, we'll obviously discuss it. But We definitely thank every single one of you guys for coming and checking out the show tonight. Porky Soda,
Heck
Craig
yeah.
P,
Thank you guys.
Marwaz, James Thomas, Mexum, Adidas, Blue, Fastback, everybody else that I forgot to mention, but I think I covered all you guys. I really want to appreciate every single one of you for coming checking out the show. I'm of
Thank you.
course
Thank you.
Centurion 1307. My cohort here, Mr. Oh my God, Psychosomatic. I can't ever remember your damn because I know your real fucking name. But yeah, man, go ahead and say goodnight to everybody, and we'll go ahead and blow this popsicle stand.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. So have a good night and have a great rest of your week. And game like you had, like there's no tomorrow.
Right. All right, everybody. We appreciate you for being here tonight, and you guys have yourselves a good night. Thank you.
Have a good night. Later.